Hello, and happy Valentine's Day. It's a big day, Valentine's Day. And you know, Valentine's Day for me doesn't start until after work. So the idea is, if any of you still have something to buy out there that you haven't picked up yet, there's time. I, of course, have done all my shopping already. Anyway, welcome to Delta Media Group's Tech Tuesday. My name's Harley, and today I am going to be walking you through the WYSIWYG editor in DeltaNet 5. So, I'm doing this as the start off to a series of videos is the idea here. The WYSIWYG editor is kind of the core. So this is the editor you're going to find on all your custom pages. You're going to find it on the custom email editors. All of those places use this same editor. So basically, to use all those other things, at the heart of it, you want to know how to use the editor. So into the DeltaNet we go. As always, we're here on our welcome layout page to begin with, but we'll go down to website and overviews because the editor I'm going to use in my example is the paragraph about you editor, which edits the content on your home page. So the cool thing about this new version of this page, if I want to get to that home page editor, I'm just going to type in home page, and there it is. So here we are. This is the editor. Most of it should look pretty familiar for the most part. It's basically a any other WYSIWYG editor you've ever seen. It looks a lot like Microsoft Word or OpenOffice, any kind of word processing program. But the main difference is here is that this is built in such a way that it's designed specifically for making web pages. This is also our newer version of it, but it works very similar to the older version in DeltaNet 4. So for example, I'll go ahead and create a link. This is a link to YouTube. So we just type it in. From there, we can affect the formatting however we want. We can change fonts. We'll change our font, make it a little bit bigger. So there we are. We can go in here and we can change the background color on the text. We can change the actual text color. Yeah, we're on with orange, right? And now if I want to make just this last part a link to YouTube, I'll highlight it. And I will say Insert, Insert Edit Link. And here, I can either put in a URL to a specific web page that I want this to link to. That can be a page on my site somewhere, or it can be a page on, the third-party page. In this case, YouTube's always my example. Not very creative, I know. So it says YouTube. That's where it's going to go. We can put a title on the link if we want. And for target, you can choose whether you want it to open in a new window or not. Our best practice for links is if it's linking to an external site, so you're linking to some third party like YouTube or Facebook or anywhere that's not your site, you'll want it to open in a new window. So I'll select that. You can also, anything that's on your own site, you want it to link in within the same window. That way every time somebody clicks a link on your site, they're not opening a new browser tab every time if they're all staying on your site. So there you go. Click OK, and there's our link. So that puts our link in place. Now if we go down, I'm just hitting return to go down a couple of steps. We can also embed pictures or videos directly onto our page here, and we can turn those into links as well. So in this case, I'll say this is a picture. And we'll go down to the next line, and I'm going to insert edit image. Now in this case, for source, I could paste in the URL of a picture if it's already on the internet somewhere and I just want to show that one. Or if we click over here, this is a browse button. And this opens up your file manager that's built into the site. From here, I can click on upload, and I can pick a picture on my computer or pick a file on my computer and upload it that way. Or I can pick from the ones I already have. So let me see. There we are. So that adds a new picture, and that's all it takes to add new pictures in here. I'll go ahead and pick the dog picture though, because I like it. And it automatically fills in where the source of the image is. It's always a good practice to add in an image description. My dog's name's Anixia. Click OK, and there she is. From here, we can grab this corner and we can resize. We can also click on the picture and it brings up our editing options here. So we can flip, we can rotate, we can go in here and edit the image and use this image editor. And actually it's, I mean, for a web-based image editor that's built into the WYSIWYG editor, it's fairly robust. And you can adjust contrast, color levels, and that's actually kind of a lot of different things you can do in here. So how about we'll make it redder. Yeah, that might be redder than I wanted. We'll turn it down a little. Now we're getting kind of a sepia tone out of it. A little overexposure. I'm just having fun now. Okay, I'll save that. So there we go. So there's my edited image. There you have it. Now you can go back into the image options also. If I wanted to replace this image, I could do so here. If I knew the exact dimensions, so I didn't want to grab the corner and drag it, but I knew exactly what size I wanted to make it, I could change these values. And by having this constraint proportions box checked, it means if I change this value, it's going to change this value at the same time to make sure the image proportions stay the same. If I turn this off, I can make it whatever width and height I want, but it's going to obviously distort the image. So I could make this 100 pixels and this one 500. So then I would have one that's only just a teeny tiny width and then just a really huge height. And the picture would look ridiculous. So good to keep in mind. And now if we go into advanced, if you know anything about HTML or mainly CSS style sheets, you can go in here and you can actually make modifications to this image. So if I wanted to add some horizontal space, I could put a value in here, like 10, and that'll put a gap on the left and right of the image that's just 10 pixels wide, so that if I put text there, it won't bump right up against the image. So you can also set borders, and you see it automatically fills in the CSS when you fill in one of these fields. And the nice thing about that is, let's say, for example, this horizontal space, let's say I only want that to be on the right. So I can read up here, margin right, margin left, so I'll just get rid of the left. And now it should only have that margin on the right. And there you go. Margin's a little bit different than padding, but that gets into a more in-depth conversation than we're going for here. So anyway, there's our image. Now we'll put some more text in here. And if I click on the image and click this left align button, what I've done is I have floated this image to the left. So if you want to make text and you want to have the text wrap around an image, you would do it just the way I did. You put your image in here, there's your image, and then you, to the right of it, you go ahead and put some text in, some more text. Can't even type text. And seeing as I return down, if I made this into a whole paragraph, that paragraph would wrap around the image. So just to recap, all I did, I added the image, I typed in some text, and then I clicked on the image, and then I clicked left align. And it didn't just align it left, it actually floated it left. You can do the same thing to the right. So now the image is floated to the right and the text stays up to the left of it. So there you go. Pretty cool, huh? Right. All right, so we'll go down a little bit further. I'll get rid of some of this because it's goofy. Good enough. And now we can also embed an image directly on our home page. So I will go up to Insert again and Insert Edit Video. And in this case, I'm going to pull, there's not really room in here to host videos. So if you tried to upload a video and import it here, there would be no player for it, so it would just be like a link to a file, and that's not what you're going for. You're going for an embedded video. So it just so happens, I have YouTube open already. And this is kind of a cool video, somebody playing the piano, you can't go wrong. Now the easiest way to do this is I'm just going to grab the URL of the YouTube video, and I'm going to hit Control-C to copy it. And then we're going to go back here and Control-V to paste it. And that puts our video in place. We can leave everything else blank because it's not going to have to, basically it'll figure out what it needs to on its own. And if I click OK, and there it is. It's set up the size the way that we wanted it to already, and we're good to go. So there you go. Now those are the basics of the least obvious aspects of the WYSIWYG editor. I mean, from here, you can go in here and you can create tables. You would just insert table, and it's real easy to choose the size you want. Though tables are something we generally try to avoid because they don't react responsively when the website changes size. So if you are on the responsive modular theme, then your website will react when you view it on a mobile device versus when you view it on your desktop computer. And tables don't react well to that. They can't really reformat themselves as the browser window gets smaller. So we suggest not using them on responsive sites. But we still have the ability to add them in here, and if you're not on the responsive site, go ahead and table away. Now all this is just repeats of the formatting elements down here. I was just curious as to what that would do. I never tried it. So, more information as far as views within the editor, and you can also full screen the editor. So if you have a lot of page content you're putting on here, if you full screen it, it'll make this editor take up your whole screen. Insert we went over, but in addition to that, you can insert kind of standard word processing type elements. You can also insert date and time that should update automatically. It won't work as a counter, it'll just give the current date and time when the page is first loaded. Non-breaking spaces, so if you wanted to add a couple of blank lines, that's what a non-breaking space is. But for the most part, and if you could do new document, that would clear out the document completely. So everything there is all designed to be clear word processing items. In fact, there's even a print button on here, though I'm not entirely sure why. And then a lot of these toolbars are just shortcuts to the items under Insert. So I usually go to Insert. If I want to insert an image, I'll go here. You can also click on this Insert Edit Image. The same for Link. You can Insert Edit Link with this button here. All right. So once you have made all the changes you want in your editor, you click Update Paragraph, and that will place it on your home page. So now we'll scroll back down to it so we can see it again. There we go. And if I go to my home page, refresh, and there's all my content. I like that shade of orange. I don't know what it is. I like it. Anyway, so back into the DeltaNet. Now, there are a few other things you can do with the editor that are very specific to our kind of editor. And what I will do first is, if you do know some HTML, we also give you the ability to put that in manually. So if I go up to Tools and down to Source Code, you can see that there is a bunch of code in here already. Now you can go through this and you can fill out the code however you see fit. So if you know any HTML and you wanted to make real specific tweaks, you could put this content in place, and then you could go back up under here under Tools and Source Code, and you could make do any real fine tuning to it from here. In fact, what I have done, this is going to be a little strange, but we're not interesting if we're not a little strange, right? So I'm going to get rid of all that and get rid of all that, and this should be some content that I made in here earlier. Look at that. Now the other things you can do with this editor that are specific to our system is, you see these custom page variables down here. So these elements are things that you can add to your page that'll kind of fill in with content automatically. So if I wanted to add my testimonials here, I can just copy this and paste it there, and it should replace that code with my testimonials. And we'll add a quick search right below that just for fun. Figure we might as well look at them, right? And featured homes. And this one we'll change it to size 3. Update. And if we take a look at our page, there you have it. Automatically placed in my testimonials right below that, and placed in my featured homes right below that. So those on the modular sites aren't as useful. They're useful for the non-modular sites, but on the modular sites, you oftentimes already have a featured home section that's included as part of your template, so that custom variable is not going to do you as much good in that case. Same goes for the customer testimonials. There's a customer testimonials that can be added to the modular sites. that is going to be part of the template already. So unless you want to show all your testimonials twice, you're not going to want to use that custom variable there. And there you go. There is the central premise of the editor. I'll go ahead and get rid of this and change it back. There we go. Now there are also some custom features you can add to these. Like recently we added the ability for you to limit how many testimonials you have here. And just to give you an example of it, and you can always ask, but this way it's documented in the video too. So right now I just have testimonials there. If I put in testimonials limit equals 2, and it has to be exactly like that with quotes and everything, then it should, instead of showing all 3 of my testimonials, or if I had 100 testimonials, it would try to show all of them. It should limit that list just to 2, and we should see only 2 testimonials there. And there you go. Let me scroll down the home page, and instead of my 3 testimonials, we have just 2. So, there you go. There is the gist of the editor. Like I said, the editor is capable of a lot of things, so this is just kind of a quick overview of it. But that pretty much covers all of its main functions. Now, if you have any questions on the editor, as always, feel free to give us a call or send an email into support@deltagroup.com, and we can answer any questions, or we can walk you through any uses of the editor. This same editor is used for your custom pages and custom emails and everything, as I explained earlier. So it's something that you want to get used to because it appears in a lot of places. So, all right, well, it's been wonderful going over this with you today. And like I said, in the successive weeks, I plan on expanding on this editor by going over the custom pages and things. So I look forward to going over that with you. See you next week.